Live. For weeks, we've told you about school districts across the state battling budget deficits like Salem-Keizer and Portland Public Schools.
Now, superintendents are calling on the state legislature to fix how Oregon funds public education. Fox 12's Connor McCarthy is live in Southeast Portland. Tell us about the latest push by both districts and their teachers to get more funding. Connor?
Well, Pete and Riel, as you know, for years, educators across the country have been advocating to their state legislatures to increase funding to public education. That includes here in Oregon. But after COVID-19, funding has dried up and the needs of students continue to increase. Both districts and teachers say that the funding system is broken, and a new video made by 4 superintendents here in Oregon wants to bring light to that.
Greetings, I'm Steve Cook, Superintendent of Ben-LaPine Schools.
I'm Brett Champion, Superintendent of the Medford School District.
Hi, I'm Sandy Husk. I'm the Interim Superintendent for Portland Public Schools.
I'm Andre Castaneda, and I'm the Superintendent of Salem-Keizer Public Schools.
4 superintendents together in one video, asking the community to pressure state lawmakers to change how public education is funded in the next biennium, as districts across the state look to make deep cuts to their budgets.
If we don't make up ground in the 25-27 biennium, this funding gap will only make matters worse.
My biggest fear is, of course, for in the moment, and also for next year. We're going to have a couple of tough years.
Michelle DePass is on Portland Public Schools Board of Education. Her board is looking to cut about $30 million from their budget.
We need a sustainable funding model that funds education.
Right now, Oregon's public schools are funded in many different ways. This includes property taxes, income taxes, and business taxes. But after Measure 5 passed in the 1990s, a limit was placed on how much property tax revenue could go to local schools. Then Measure 50 passed in the same decade, limited how fast local governments could raise property taxes. Now the state legislature is tasked with funding most of Oregon's schools as they work to fund other needs from the same pot of money.
These measures have kind of had a disproportionate effect on our larger districts who do have that tax base, because what that means is when we have local taxes that supplement the funding given to us by the state then takes away some of their funding and redistributes it to other local districts.
Angela Bonilla is the president of the Portland Teachers Association. She says rural districts should not be overlooked in their funding needs. However, Measure 5 and 50 need to be reformed so larger districts can access the resources they need for their students.
Really taking the time to look at the data and see how has this impacted our schools across the state? Are there places where we're noticing that this is really just painful or harmful for student development and being able to keep quality educators?
Bonilla and DePass say something needs to change, whether that is reforming 2 measures or overhauling how the entire education system is funded in Oregon, because the problem of keeping Oregon schools well funded is not going away.
I think those are the conversations we need to have seriously, as opposed to the blanket, we can't do that, we can't change school funding, we can't change the tax structure. We can. That's why we elect officials, that's why we have a government. We can do these things.
It's not a rural issue or an urban issue, it's a statewide issue that the superintendents are calling for action.
Well, Pete and Riel, tonight at 6:30 here at Franklin High School, there will be a town hall about funding public education. And also on the ballot this primary season for Portland Public School community members, there is a renewal for a levy, and the district and the union says that by renewing this levy, the community could save hundreds of teacher jobs. Live in Southeast Portland, Connor McCarthy, Fox 12 Oregon.